Can everyone hear me? Good evening, students and parents. Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad. Hi, Kimberly. I'm so excited to be here tonight to share my story. Before I get into the nitty-gritty, I want to give you a bit of background about me. My name is Taylor Swart, and I graduated from Flint Hill School in 2008. I was a lifer at Flint Hill, having gone here from kindergarten through 12th grade. My sister Kimberly graduated from here in 2012, and my brother Jack graduated from here in 2015. After I graduated from here, I attended the University of Virginia, where I graduated in 2012 with a bachelor's degree in chemistry. From there, I taught 10th and 11th grade chemistry at a boarding school in Wheeling, West Virginia, called the Lindsley School, where I lived on campus in the 7th through 9th grade girls' dormitory as a dorm mother and coached the middle school swim team. I was a teacher for 3 years before deciding to go back to grad school to pursue a career in nursing. I moved to Columbus, Ohio in June of 2015 and began the graduate entry nursing program at The Ohio State University in June of 2016. I will be a registered nurse this December, and then I will continue on in the program and will be a primary care pediatric nurse practitioner in May 2019. I currently work full-time as a nurse's aide at The Ohio State University Wexner Medical Center. 1 in 5 teens, ages 13 through 18, have or will have a serious mental illness. That means 1 or 2 people at each table in this room tonight may be suffering from a mental illness. I was one of those people, and I'm here tonight to share my journey with mental illness with you all. Please keep in mind that this is one girl's story. I'm by no means standing up here tonight telling you that the way I did things is better, or that my approach to my recovery is the way you should approach yours. I'm simply here to share my story. Growing up, I was always very active in school and sports. In the fall of 7th grade, however, I remember making a conscious decision to want to lose a couple of pounds. I can remember my dad and I wanting to do this together, and even making it a competition of sorts. It started out just fine, making healthier food choices, not having dessert every night after dinner, etc. I can remember looking in the mirror and liking the results I was seeing. Then things started to get out of hand. It became a game of sorts, let's see if I can lose 5 more pounds. And then once I was there, oh, well, I would be happier if I lost 5 more pounds. If things weren't going the way I wanted at school or on the softball field, I would punish myself by not allowing myself to eat. I knew I could control what I put in my body, and by the same logic, what I could not put in my body. I would exercise every chance I could. I became obsessed with eating the least amount I could get away with and exercising multiple times a day, sneaking it in whenever I could. I had this image of perfection in my head, of being skinny and getting straight A's and being an all-star on the tennis court, in the swimming pool, and on the softball field. In an attempt to gain control over every aspect of my life, I almost lost everything. I can remember the morning of March 30th, 2003, like it was yesterday. It was the last Sunday of spring break, and it was snowing. I was supposed to be confirmed that day at church, but in the 3 days prior, I had stopped eating altogether and had also stopped drinking water. My parents had begged and pleaded with me to eat, but the more they tried to convince me, the harder I pushed back, refusing to let anything pass between my lips. When I got out of bed that morning, I walked into the bathroom, and the last thing I remember was my dad telling me, "You're severely dehydrated. See, open your mouth and look at your tongue." Then, everything went black. When I woke up, I was laying in my parents' bed, my mom sitting by my side. "Taylor, you have 2 choices. You can either come downstairs with me and eat some Rice Krispies, an apple, anything, and go to your confirmation, or we're going to the hospital." Refusing to eat still, my dad carried my limp, frail body into the car, and he and my mom drove me to Fair Oaks emergency room, where I remember my mom filling out the paperwork to be seen, and under reason for visit, she wrote, "Anorexia, refuses to eat or drink, and passed out." Now it was real. I had seen it written down on paper. I remained inpatient at Fair Oaks Hospital for a couple of days until I was a bit more stable medically, and then I was transferred to St. Joseph's Medical Center in Towson, Maryland, to begin a 2-month-long inpatient treatment program for eating disorders. When I arrived there, I was 5 foot 3 inches tall and weighed in at a measly 77 pounds, a shell of the girl I am today. I can remember a doctor looking me straight in the eyes and saying, "Taylor, had you not been as active and healthy as you were in sports before you came in, your heart would have given out long before you made it to this point. You are lucky to be here today." At the time, luck was the last emotion I was feeling. If we're being honest, I hated every second of being there. I did not want help, but my parents placed me there saved my life. After 2 grueling months, I was transitioned to outpatient therapy and then spent the summer months in therapy back here in Virginia. I received countless cards and gifts from my classmates, teachers, family, and friends. The outpouring of love and support was truly unbelievable. Now, keep in mind, I was in 7th grade at the time all of this occurred. Looking back, I do not blame my friends and my classmates for not understanding what was going on. In fact, I can remember coming back to the school to visit at the end of the school year in 7th grade after I got out of the hospital and having one of my male classmates look at me and say, "Whoa, Taylor, are you an angel or something? I thought you had died." At the beginning of 8th grade, I was allowed to return to school, but I was not allowed to play sports. My mom came up to school every day to eat lunch with me in the assistant principal's office to make sure I ate. I had to carry around a piece of paper with me and have my teachers sign it at the beginning of each class saying I arrived at class on time, because otherwise I would take the longest route possible from class to class, running to use the staircase on the opposite side of the building or walking around the outside of the school. Coupled with suffering from anorexia, I was also suffering from severe obsessive-compulsive disorder, so I would spend time organizing and reorganizing my locker between classes. I was also so particular about my bedroom at my house that I would sleep on top of the covers at night, not wanting to mess it up. And I would double and triple check that everything was in its proper place before going to bed and before leaving for school. In fact, my punishment at times for not finishing a meal or for sneaking extra exercise was that my brother and my sister got to come in my room and jump on my bed once, each. And at the time, that was enough to send me into a tailspin. Now, I know I have told you a very short snippet of a very personal narrative, but I'm not telling you a sob story, and I most certainly am not asking for pity or for you to feel sorry for me by any means. In fact, I stand firm by the next 9 words I'm about to say. Flint Hill School and my parents saved my life. Had my teachers not noticed my behaviors changing? Had my friends not spoken up and said something to an adult? Had the school not allowed me to finish my coursework for 7th grade from inside the 4 walls of St. Joseph's Medical Center? Had the middle school director not allowed my mom to eat lunch with me every day for the first half of 8th grade? Had I not had the endless love and support day in and day out before, during, and after my illness? Had I not gone to this school, I would not be where I am today. I will not stand up here in front of you and tell you that it was easy. I also am going to admit that I was very resistant to treatment initially. I did not believe anything was wrong. I did not want to go to therapy because going to therapy would be admitting that I had a problem, admitting that I was weak. I was scared, angry, and disappointed. In fact, I hated going to therapy. But as the 8th grade year continued, I realized something. I had so many people fighting for me, except one major person, myself. I was doing everything in my power to fight against me, to resist the help I was being given, and I had finally had enough. I was bound and determined to get rid of the label of the girl with the eating disorder. Slowly but surely, my attitude improved. The energy that I had once poured into my eating disorder, I now poured into my recovery and into being healthy. I was allowed to play softball again in the spring of 8th grade. My mom did not have to come up and eat lunch with me quite as often. And I no longer had to use the sign-in sheet for all of my classes. By the end of 8th grade, I was pretty much fully immersed back into a quote-unquote normal routine. Now, entering 9th grade is hard enough, as all of you know, but entering 9th grade after having been removed from most normal activities for the past 2 years, while suffering a severe eating disorder and OCD, posed its own set of difficulties. Most of my friends had abandoned me, not understanding what I was going through, not understanding why I was not allowed to play sports, and why my mom had to come eat lunch with me every day. I had missed out on crucial years for social development in 7th and 8th grade, and so being thrown back into the mix of things in 9th grade, here in this very building, I felt very out of place. I was lonely, isolated, and still battling my inner demons on a daily basis. I was still seeing a psychiatrist on a regular basis, and depression was added to my list of diagnoses. On the exterior, I looked healthy, no longer a skeleton looking back at me in the mirror, but on the inside, I was still very much broken. Without going into details, I came very close to ending my own life, putting myself out of my misery, thinking that the world would be better off without me, and that I would not be a burden to people any longer. With the steadfast support of the teachers in this school, the relentlessness of my parents, the right doses of the right medications, and frequent therapy sessions, I was also able to overcome those demons. There's obviously a lot more to this story, and there are many parts I have left out for time's sake, but what I want to emphasize is this. When everything first started in 7th grade, the people around me noticed a change, and they acted on it. They said something, they did something. They did not ignore it and move on. They intervened. So that is the first take-home point I want to emphasize. If you see something, say something. Don't assume it is nothing, and don't assume that someone else will say something. If you have a friend that you think is struggling with depression or with thoughts of suicide, reach out to them for help. And if you don't feel comfortable reaching out to them for help, then tell an adult that you trust. It can be something as simple as, I'm not sure what's going on with Sally or with Billy, but he or she is acting differently, and as a friend, I'm concerned about him or her. That leads me to my next point. When you do reach out for help on someone else's behalf after recognizing that they need help, even if you're not sure exactly what's going on, they may hate you for it initially. Be prepared for that fact, that they may hate you, but don't let it stop you from reaching out. I know from my experiences that I was so resentful of my parents and teachers initially for intervening when they saw signs of an eating disorder and later for signs of depression. How dare they meddle in my life? I had everything under control. Who do they think they are trying to swoop in and tell me how to live my life? But looking back, I would not be here today without their interventions. My last point is this. It won't be easy, but it is worth it. I stand here in front of you today, able to confidently say that my days of suffering from an eating disorder and depression are 100% behind me. However, I still to this day see a psychiatrist on a regular basis and am on medication for general anxiety disorder. It is something that is a part of who I am, and I have accepted the fact that my brain just needs a bit of an extra boost in order to function at its optimal level. It does not make me any less of a person. I am not ashamed to admit that I take medication on a daily basis for anxiety, and probably will have to for the rest of my life. I am not ashamed to stand up here today and tell you the story of my past, because it has shaped who I am today. In fact, I became a teacher right after college because of the inspiration I drew from all of the teachers that I had at Flint Hill. And now my ultimate goal is to become a pediatric nurse practitioner so that I can promote health and wellness to kids and adolescents. 1 in 5. 1 in 5 adolescents in this room today is suffering from a mental illness, maybe silently. I have talked a lot tonight about how you can help other people who are suffering from a mental illness, But the last point I want to leave you with is how you can help yourself. You have to decide that you are worth it. You have to decide to accept the help being given to you. It was not until I realized this fact that my recovery truly began. Instead of resisting the help I was being given, I embraced it, slowly but surely. It was not easy, it was not fun, and it was not a smooth ride. There were roadblocks along the way. If you are sitting here tonight and think you are suffering from depression, anxiety, thoughts of suicide, or any other mental illness, please know that you are not alone. I have been in your shoes. I know what it feels like to feel empty, to feel abandoned, to feel like there is nowhere left to turn, to feel hopeless, sad, and afraid. I know what it feels like to hit rock bottom. But I also know what it feels like to climb out of it, to reach the light at the end of the tunnel, and see the grass that is truly greener on the other side. I know what it feels like to be truly happy, to be free, to be loved, supported, and cared for, and to have a purpose in life. No one can truly help you until you decide to help yourself. Speak up, reach out, get help. One of the scariest things is admitting you need help. Even scarier is asking for it. It does not make you weak. It means you're human. And the people in this room, the parents, students, faculty, and staff of Flint Hill School are willing and ready to help you. I know this because I experienced it firsthand. Even though I have been out of Flint Hill for almost 10 years, I carry a little piece of it with me everywhere I go. Once a Husky, always a Husky. This was my story and my journey living with a mental illness. It is a part of who I am, but it does not define me. It has shaped who I am today, but it does not limit me in what I am capable of achieving. This is a conversation that needs to be had, and it starts at an event like this, Community of Concern. Help each other, support each other, love each other. Thank you.